Hello traders, hello and welcome to this YouTube live trading stream. I hope you are all doing really well. Please give me a quick sound check. Hello familiar faces, hello everybody, and yes, hello, how are we all doing? Quick sound check please. Pavlin and Nikolov. Hello everybody, hope you're all doing really well. Let's keep going through this chat. Jesse H1PS, there's a champion in a house. Mega, Daniel, Victoria, hello, sound Jerome with the sound confirmation. Right, we are coming down to the value area low here. We'll go through everything, but let's just make sure. It seems like every time I start a stream, we're always coming down to a key level, and ES and NQ are coming down to this previous value. So sound is good, thank you. So let's just see if yes decides to find a bit of support here and claim that value area low there. Currently nothing in the NQ, as you can see there on your screen. It's coming down to the point of control at $19,400. We have the Trump announcement today with the tariffs. Finally, sounds like we're going to have some clarity on what is going on, and then people can start to either put risk on or risk off depending on what's going to happen later. It won't be now, it's going to be later this afternoon, but still the markets have been quite volatile. So hello everybody, I hope you are all ready for a trading session ahead. We'll be here for a good part of an hour and a half to 2 hours. So as always, if you have any questions on what I'm doing, what I'm using, what I'm seeing, please fire them up on the chat. I will get to you all. As always, don't forget, everything we cover here today is not financial advice. Everything is for educational purposes only. And yeah, so make sure you are okay with that legal trade disclaimer, because we are not financial advisors, etc. But yeah, nice to see you all. And yeah, and don't forget, like, if we do take a trade, it's all paper money. And yeah, there's always a lag on the stream. I'm not sure how far this lag is. And finally, if you're enjoying the video, or if I can help you in some way, shape or form, smash the like button. Let's smash the likes. Share with your mother, your aunt, your daughter, your son, whatever. And yeah, spread the love. Yeah, smash the likes. And there you go. So NQ and ES. So NQ is already hitting here the point of control. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I want to see the volume down here, and I'm going to keep on this screen for now just to see. And ES, as you can see, going through that 330 there, so 635. Yeah, kind of like a risk off just before we obviously get the tariffs later announcement. So traders like seeing this a little bit more like it's a risk off session. So you know, you can see like we are one time framing down. So since we've lost those 20s up there, or 60s, one time framing down. So really, if this value area low is to hold, we would like to see this over the next 25 minutes go back inside and close above, and then at least we got a low. Until then, you know, the trend is down, but it's very hard to short a previous day value area low, okay, because you are at value low. And then obviously NQ still has quite a bit of room to get down to value low, so we could potentially find a little short scalp if we get acceptance below that point of control. But always, point of control tends to be a nice level to actually scalp a little long trade. So let's head over to NQ down here on Trading View. I've got an account set up, and yeah, we can see about some trades. Let's just zoom in, make sure that you can all see. I'll keep it here for now. I want to see that there. Just zoom out a little bit. There you go. Going to go down to a lower time frame, load up our liquidity map so we can see what's going on down there. So here's the point of control from yesterday. And we have the open at 82. Okay, there you go, flush through that open of yesterday. And if we do see a long trade, we'll take it. We'll be scalping to start off with, a couple of scalps. But I want to see at least a 1 minute close above. And yeah, hello everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We used to play the streams with some music in the background, but not today. We're on YouTube. Copyright. Not unless some of you know of a nice YouTube channel where we can listen to some free music. Can play in the background. Or just keep it as that, and then at least you've got my all attention. All right, so yeah, any questions, please let me know. We're going to wait a little bit for a good trade setup here. Currently, we don't have one. You can see here, this is the 1 minute chart. NQ just complete move down into the yesterday's RTH open. And you can see here, so this is a TPO chart, okay? And this A represents yesterday's session open, and this is just the regular trading hours. And we're just kind of hovering around there, as well as the actual daily point of control from the volume yesterday. So again, it's a nice kind of level to potentially take a long trade if we get acceptance back inside. But currently, as you can see, not acceptance. We want to see that volume completely dry out, which kind of is at the moment. So we can see that reclaim back inside those 80s potentially, and then get a little move up to 400s at least, so we can entertain that little trade. So 83s holding as resistance. Okay, making another lower low below the 75s. 9 lots down there. And yeah, I will go through the whole chart chat. So yeah, if you have any questions on what I'm using, what I'm looking at, yeah, please do ask. Please do. Don't be shy. And we can take a look at BTC as well. Yeah, sometimes these are the little drops that gives us a nice opportunity. Let's have a look here. I'm looking from low, from the 19,000 low all the way to the current high. We are coming down to the midpoint of this whole range. We're currently taking the lows here on the left. Let's expand this so you can see. So that's the low. That's the high. And we have just swept the lows below. And we're currently heading towards that weekly open, sitting down at 20. So we'll keep an eye on that chart as well as this one. And this is yesterday's open there, okay? So what we can do is zoom in. But before I do that, let me see where we are within this local range. Okay, 70. So 19,370 is a good level. Okay, so it's the 75% of the whole range, and is just below the current low there. So let's see if we get this little move. That will be 70, between 70 and 66. Let's see if we can get it. I'm actually going to go lower to a 30-second chart. And I've got this preloaded here, and we'll trade straight from here. If we can see, what would be the risk? Risking about $200. At least get up to 500. Let's see. Looks like it wants to go already. ES, quite a little volume node building on here, and Q not so much. Quite okay. And I can show you that up here. You can see we've gone through value below the low, And I can cover all of these charts in a minute. It may look daunting and overwhelming, but it really is not once you get used to what we're looking at here. Okay, we are getting a little push, but now that this has moved quite a bit, yeah, we're already at 93, so target was around 400, so that's not going to do it, is it? Not unless we could go halves. Let's see if we can claim the point of control at least. There you go, coming up to that 400s, which is the point of control there. Okay, well, we did read that very well. But I was hoping just to get that little tiny move down. And yeah, we're at 400, so kind of hit that target very quickly. Look at that. Very quickly. But the idea anyway was to at least take the current lows. Just to give us that nice swing low. But yeah, this could run a little bit here if we can claim that point of control just there. So this is going to be a little bit of resistance. Okay, let's give ourselves a few minutes here. I could potentially go with the retest. Let me take a look at ES as well. Okay, there you go. Okay, so we're at value area low. The risk is not a lot here. But yeah, those 20s look so tasty. But yeah, I'm going to take an initial position here. Just a quick long trade. I like the kind of like structure. We might get stopped out because of the 20s. It would be better if we did get the 20s, but let's just take a quick little scalp here. And I chose ES because NQ is kind of like already run quite a little bit, and risk would have to be all the way down there. So for a good trade down here, I mean, you can see already like that would be nice. Stop just below the low. And then, you know, aim at least for value through that point of control, and that would give us a 250. But where we are now, it doesn't give us the good risk, you know, risk to reward. So it's a little bit less, well, less. It's not very good risk to reward, right? Let's put it that way. Keep it simple. And yeah, but on yes, I mean that 20, and this is what I'm looking at. So if I just zoom in a little bit here. And we've got the order book actually going a little bit thin here. Today's going to be a crazy day. Yeah, 20 looks nice. Let's see if we can go up to 30s. And then we'll just move our stop to 25. Actually, let's do that now. Okay, we can move our stop to 25, which is previous day value. Only because, okay, our entry is not the best. So because our entry is not the best, we can just kind of like start to reduce risk. And I can see, I don't know if you can see here, this sort of like a dark area here on the liquidity sort of like map. This is a DOM, and it's very similar to what do you call a book map, where you can see the actual orders there. So you can see there's a big order there at the 30s, but there's not much in between. So there you go, see, and that's what happens. So when there's not many orders through, it just goes straight to the next level. So what we'll do, we'll just move our stop higher here on this, just to kind of lock. Because I don't like, yeah, there you go, we got stopped out. Just because I don't like this, can you see, like, it's just very low liquidity. And when you see that, you might as well just, you know, back off, let the market do what it wants to do, and then we can get it later. And then let's take a quick look at NQ with that nice move. Okay, let's keep on TradingView. I know you're all very familiar with TradingView, otherwise the other charts are a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, let me know any questions you may have. I will be happy to cover it. Okay, that point of control still acting as resistance there. So those are the 400s. So that's what we've hit a couple of times. Yeah, and we can do some requests a little bit later. I just want to kind of like lock in a couple of good trades here. That one on ES was okay, but not the best. There was our entry coming back down to value. Don't know if you all watch my lesson on the market profile, but if you haven't, you probably should take a look. That low is not the best again. Look at that. And this is it. Sometimes you just don't get those nice. What about in NQ? Looks a little bit better. I still am in the opinion that we could break these lows and go and clean those 70s. That would be better. Like clean the 70s, like trap a lot of traders on here around the 70s. Oops, let me just get my drawing tool. Yeah, like just roll over, trap those 70s, come back above, and then that could be our nice trade. And then we can hold this for a little bit longer. And there you go, it's coming down now. Let's see if they do it. That would be nice. We also have a no that's 65. Just here, 65, 66. Just the second one. So point of control with 11,000, and then the next node down is 8K. And then when you look at, ES, you can see that we are at a good level. This is value area low. It's below initial balance as well from yesterday. So let's see if it holds. You know, just because we're very extended down, we don't want to be taking shorts on here. Okay, and then when you look at value, value is all the way at between 76 and 41. So we can't short below value. Like below here, we can't short. This is a forbidden short area. No shorts here, only longs, because we are outside value. And what happens when price is outside value? Typically goes back inside. And be nice to average into that long here. You know, go from that RTH open there. So we could go 1, 2, 3. Could probably do this on the micros. I kind of like it. I'm gonna have to go deeper. 15 seconds. I'll just have my trigger here ready to go if I see an injection on this screen here. If I see that injection on buy volume, I'll go in and then I'll use this as my stop. But yeah, that 70 does look testy. 70 to 65. Yeah, they've come in already. I might attempt it a couple of times just in case they want to break out. So annoying. They really want to go now. Okay, that would be our stop there. I'm going to try again on ES. We have not the best fill there, but I'm going to use this as stop. Just want to try a couple of times here. Again, we're outside value. I don't like shorting the lows. So if anything, that would have been a nice long trade there from the 25s. But we're at 28, so it's okay still. The seller is still at 30 though. That seller is still there at 30. I'll show you the chap. There he is, sitting right at 30 there. See if they can still. Failing that, we wait for those 65s or on NQ, or the 20s on ES. Okay. That is also my question. Okay, let's take a look at this quick chat here while this is cooking, and you can see, take a look at all that. Christina, thanks, Scott. ETH can go to 16.7. I'll take a look at that later. What ticket per row do you use on ES and NQ? ES, tick 1. But for TPO, you can go up to tick 5. Sometimes tick 2 is like my preferred, because then you don't lose any of the sensitivity in the markets. But currently on this one, I'm using tick 2. So this is tick 2 on ES, and then on NQ, I'm using tick 5, I think. Oh no, tick 10. Tick 10, because it just moves a little bit that quicker. So you kind of have to, you know, go up a tick a little bit. Okay, but yeah. 2 on ES. Sometimes on the market profile, I'll go down to 1, and I'll go down to 1 just to see the actual auction on the 30-minute profile, and I will cover this on a public video for YouTube for you all. Yeah, it looks like they still want to go down to those 20s, which we we've got stopped out of that trade anyway already. Let's wait for those 20s. Okay, let's keep an eye on this. Okay, here they coming. 21, 21.50, 21.25. And on NQ, they still not hit those 70s yet. Be nice to see both markets together doing the same thing, okay? That would be much better. Oof. NQ wants to run. How likely is that? 7 minutes left. What was the volume? That 173, 62. Yeah, you can see here they sweep the low and they're coming back inside. It's going to be a little accumulation here. You can see they're still making lower lows and lower highs. Come on, let's see if we can take it. This is it. Sometimes you get tempted, like the first initial move. I went on ES because it's less risk, like $150. Because sometimes they can just go from here, but they still haven't taken any of the little highs there, as you can see. So yeah, I'm just going to pay a little bit of attention here, just in case. I don't want to kind of like miss a good trade. And if you're a champion member, you know sometimes it can be very frustrating. Like early this morning, I literally started the stream and we came down to our level, and then because I was answering questions, looking at the chat and stuff, you know, you kind of like get a little bit distracted. So let's see if we are holding here. We've got 6 minutes left for this period to finish as well, for the 130, and I don't think we have any data. Very quickly, I'm just going to check. 23 still. See if we can sweep those 20s. Wednesday, that's later, and then low impact. All right, so all kind of like low stuff, nothing too major. Okay, back again at the lows. Let's go back to yes, just making another low there, and the 20s is just below. Yeah, because if we don't hold those 20s, I'm kind of like aiming towards that weekly open, and they're at 88 really. All right, here's the 20s, a flush through. You can see the level being obliterated there. So if we can reclaim 21, we can go with a long trade, and then that stop can become just below the low. So I'm going to try the stop there, the trade there, and we're going to try as well potentially on NQ. Let me just see. Okay, we're going to try on both markets. Low risk. And then I'll take a quick look at questions. Okay, let's see if they stick this. So they came just literally to that 66 that we spoke about earlier. There's a little pullback. Bit of luck that would hold now. 75s. And then we really want to see them starting to break 82. Not quite there. 4 minutes to the next period. They might want to sweep the lows once more. I do like the volume there on yes. Let's see. Okay, retest. Just going to try and zoom in here. Come on. My stop is literally just below the lows. Come on, let's see if they hold here. Yeah, ETH I'll take a look at later, and BTC as well. Let me just try and focus here. Looks like they are working those 20s there. No big orders yet. Yeah, they might want to come and sweep again. And it's very much like, you know, when it has to go, it should just go once it taps the level. So let's see if they can snap out of there. But there's a seller here around the 21s, 22s. I'm going to try and filter this a little bit. Probably can see a little bit better now where they are. Okay, he's now turning up at 23, so quite high. And then, yeah, if we can break the 23 high, then yeah, 25, 27. And if the seller keeps pushing us down, yeah, we got 10s, 15s every $5. Okay, we got 3 minutes. As you can see, I'll keep it on this screen so we can see. 3 minutes there. Yeah, there you go. There's the 19. Can zoom in a little bit here. I know sometimes it doesn't quite go through there on the stream. And there's that seller again. So he went from 21 down to 20. 19 hit. Just adjusting stuff. There you go. They're eating that 19. And if I get stopped on this one, what I'll do, I'll just wait for a reclaim then. So we're basically trying to be a little bit aggressive here, buying, because this is a kind of like a nice area, but you can see that they are really pushing, and that seller is still there. He's at 20s. So yeah, I got stopped out on that and on yes as well. Okay, so those two trades not working. Let's see if they go all the way down to the 15s, and then I'll wait a little bit and I'll take a look at the questions, and we'll try and get our run a little bit later. BTC. I can take a quick look, but I'm going to set a couple of alerts first here. So it'll be, yeah, we're kind of coming down to it now. It's difficult. The second I'll take my eyes off this, I'll just find it's, because yeah, we're far away from value now. I'll wait. Okay, let me just quickly then take a look. I'll probably be best if I load the other chart so I can keep this one there. Okay. Just prepare this. Yeah, BTC is rejecting from a level I gave this morning at 85,300. Well, my kind of level was between 85, and this is BTC. So the level was between 85, 345 and 85,500. That was that little box there with a potential move all the way back down to the value area low, which, I mean, when you compare it with ES and NQ, it's actually holding pretty steady up here. I mean, we had the rejection, but it's very slow through VWAP down into the kind of like yesterday singles. So we have quite a big sort of like area now of of singles all the way down to 84,200. Hang on, let me just keep an eye here. Yeah, we're still bleeding there, so I'll wait for a reclaim. Yeah, let's do BTC very quickly. But I just wanted to see the opening of this 30-minute period. Okay, so I'm just going to put it there very quickly. See where they are. Yeah, 20 and 19 still. Yeah, I'm just looking at NQ and ES just to make sure I don't miss the trade. Because BTC, as you can see here, tends to be a little bit more slow, where you have to be really, really patient. For example, earlier, you'd have to be like here at 9 o'clock when we were doing our stream earlier, you know, waiting for that move all the way back up into those. And we actually got the trade entry. If I just zoom into, let's go to a line chart, and I'll show you this on a line chart. And we'll go to a 15-second chart. And this is just to obviously represent like a low time frame chart, like, you know, 1 minute or whatever, we actually go through the level. So between 85.3 and 85.5, okay, we come back down, and then we have another attempt which fails, and then back down to VWAP. And now we're just making these lower lows, lower highs, lower low, potentially not a lower high. And yeah, that 84.235 would be a really nice level down there. So let's see if we get it. I've got an alert there. And currently, yeah, this is still resistance, 85.200, especially with the stock market dropping. But yeah, so BTC still like finding a little bit of resistance here, and this is a bar chart, and you can see that yesterday we had the open all the way back down to previous day open, and then obviously took the previous day high. So the day actually finished and closed kind of like nice and bullish, and we're just shy of the gap fill here at 86.200. So that's my upper target. So should we, or in other words, should BTC drop down to those 84.200s, that could be a potentially nice trade that we could take up to the range high. So currently, as you can see, it's stuck in the middle of the range. So from this high to this low, this is the midpoint. It's around VWAP, so it's not the best trade to be taking here early this morning. And yes, with a rise to that first resistance level, now we have to wait either for those lows or those highs for the next trade. So we've got alerts below and above, so we just have to wait for those two to come and trigger. And this is not quite finished yet. I feel we might get another little drop here on this. So looking for my next level here. Okay, on ES was 20s, at least 20s, 19 to 20s. See if we can get it. Just join. You are looking for longs or shorts. I will be trading both sides of the market. So, you know, currently on NQ and ES, we are having this nice downtrend this morning, as you can see. So since, let's call it 600, since the 600s on NQ, we have been like moving lower, lower, lower. It doesn't look like that it's finished yet. So, but yeah, we're outside value, and we're outside value low. I don't really like to take those short trades. I like to wait for price at least to come back inside, and we've got currently, there you go, so the point of control is at 400, so that's quite far away. And then on the ES, it's around 25, but that's still outside value. But we'd have to come at least between 20 and 25 for me to entertain a short back through that low. And I think, yeah, it might not reach that. I think it's too close. We did actually hit the 20s. Is that enough? Let's have a look. Could be enough there, to be honest. Let me see what would be the risk here. So back up to that high, $200, back through the low to 60. So as you can see, not the best. Now where we are, you'd have to be here. That would give us a better risk to reward. Yeah, let's see if we can at least push a little bit further into the range. 22s at least. I know 25 is a good level, but there you go. So rejecting already. So a little bit weak. Nice SR flip of the 20s. So when you look from left to right, we'll entertain the shorts while this market is dropping, but not quite now yet. Let's keep our stop there. Obviously take profit would be below, trailing lower, but let's wait. 21s would be nice, because then that gives us about $200 risk to 500 reward, and we've got good support around the 10s and 600s all the way down there around the previous day low. So let's see if we can at least push through a little bit further up. 21 to 23s. got the wrong screen up. I'll keep it here so you can see. $22s. Just waiting to see if we can get that little move a little bit further up. Can attempt a few here. Yeah, it's likely that we'll come back down to the lows there. Overnight low currently. But we want to see just a little bit further up, especially below these lows here. Lows. We want to kind of at least 22. It's already going with Antas. I'll try and keep an eye on everything. Yeah, let's see, 85. Yeah, 85's on NQ and 23, 24, just a little bit higher. Gold is on a nice rip to the upside. Yeah, it don't look like we're gonna get this 21, are we? Mario, hello, good afternoon. Come on, let's see if we can get a little push. Let's look at NQ also not quite finished. But again, let's see if we can get another rise. Just like that. Then it's better for us. So here at least we wanted to see 23 minimum, 25 max. So let's keep looking at this. I guess I can just mark it in as soon as I see it lose the level. Probably easier. Yeah, that seller removed its order from 22s. And if you want to see that, let me know in the chat, because otherwise I'm going to have to keep switching between screens. It's not all on the same, but the seller removed these orders, meaning that they could have probably be thinking this is it. We're ready to drop now. But for that, we'd have to put our stop here, attempt this quick little scalp. Let me see. Be nice to get just another quick rotation. Yeah, let's get it. Looks like we might still get it. Come on. I've not done the video yet. I've been quite busy. But it's going to be just market profile with volume next to it. Okay, so here it comes. There's the little rotation back up. Still wants a little bit higher. Okay, I might go short any second now. Yeah, I'm going to attempt the quick scalp, just like I said that I would. Let me just get rid of all of this stuff here and push my stop down. And wow, where's okay? Set on NQ, that's why. Okay, so the trend is that we are shorting outside value, and yeah, 25 would have been my preferred place. So I'm going to move my stop to 26, 25 because it still can go a little bit higher. But for the sake of the video, I want to kind of like be in the trade. But yeah, we're coming up to that. Yeah, so 21, 22, and 25 being kind of like max. So let's see if we can get a little rotation. And then I'm going to take a look at NQ as well. kind of okay. Just checking. Gonna have to change. Quite low volume actually when you think about it for what's today. Let me just go 25 then. Trying to filter a little bit to see what. Okay, so he's now moved it down to 21. Removed. Yeah, it's a little bit. They're flashing a lot of orders here. So let's stay with price for now. Like I said, 25 would have been better for the fill. You know, between 20. Well, I said 21 to 23. So let's keep our stop at 26 and then aim for the current lows. But I always like to give myself a little bit of room just in case we, you know, drop and go through quickly. But yeah, slow and steady here, grinding higher. NQ doing the same, slow and steady, grinding higher. All the way, room all the way to 85 still. And below that, 25s. But yeah, this is what we face sometimes when we short below value. And if you can't quite see what I'm trying to explain here is, so focus, this is the market profile for ES. And ES is trading at 21. And value low is at 29. So there's room to at least, you know, let's say 75% of that value low to the low, the current low. So that will be sitting in at 28. Our stop is at 26. So it's kind of like not the best. We, you know, ideally you want to give yourself a little bit more room, and you want to see at least price come as close as possible to there, and then obviously the stop a little bit further up, and then obviously if you get into that short, you want to then target the new lows down there. Okay, so that is kind of like the thesis and the plan here. It's kind of like playing, but a little bit slow. And I'm not surprised. We've already dropped so far, as you can see here. So we've come a long way. Just take a look at the profiles. So 36, that would be, yeah. So we're currently at 18 down here. So yeah, let's see if they can reject here and start to go low, and then we can use 22 as our stop, just to kind of like protect. Big order filled there at 18. Yeah, they're really pushing it. Yeah, there is some buyers now. There's a few buyers interested down here buying. New York Open is in 50 minutes. So yeah, that's correct. It's in about so what do we have? 45 minutes. How did you find the 22 to 23 level? So basically, we had plenty of orders being filled there. So if I just show you here, and I'll try and hide them. So, you know, this is the lowest is 20. Okay, so the lowest there on this side is 20. So we know there's like participants here. And then on the way up, those were the biggest orders on this chart. So 1, 2, 3, and still 4. And then there's one at 24. They're still pushing, but that is kind of like the best level, and then you want to see the low. So because you want to kind of like follow the trend to the downside, and just like here, so you've got all of the orders being filled on the downside, like all of these, and then you come up and you fill all of this to the upside until it finishes, and typically you want to see that kind of like last big one being filled right here at 31. That case was, so now that is the high, so that would be the best stop loss for this trade, and then you want to kind of like fill all of the orders here, and that one there between 24 and 25 is the biggest one. So that's our kind of box, and then you aim again for the new lows. But yeah, I don't want to risk too much on these streams, you know, like to practice the good risk to reward for you traders. And this platform is called Quantower. It's a platform available for free if you have a broker such as AMP or quite a few actually. But yeah, it's a great platform. And then here on the left, you're looking at the market profile for the regular trading hours only, okay? And then up here, I typically have the full composite. And there you go, we're coming up to that level now. Let's see if we can, and you can see here 28, actually just dropped a little bit here, down to 28 now. It's not Atis, it's Quantower. I'll tell you what, I'll post the link. I'll post the link in the chat, their link. Okay, so give me a second. There we go. That's the platform name. And these templates that we use are available for all our members in the chat, in the chart champions. I share them all. So this is our custom templates that we use. And for example, while we're waiting for this one here shows, let me just zoom out a little bit. So this is ES, and when you double click, so this is looking at two things. So volume on the right for yesterday's session, but then just behind it, you have the TPO. So that's the market profile. So it kind of like show both sides of the market. And then when you double click, it will then expand the letters, and you'll be able to see then the open, this little green, sea green open, and then currently that was the close down there. This is the midpoint. We're coming up to it now, so that 24. I have to adjust my stop there, and then the midpoint of this, and this is the volume for this 30-minute period. So very important there. And we are squeezing here a little bit towards those 25s, the kind of like max sort of level there that I was looking for. So we're kind of going through that now. Let me just show you here on the SF. Let's see if they now pick up the selling, come back in, or completely accept inside value, which would be then bullish for the market. There you go. There's that little seller there. A few thin orders leaving the market. 25. Going to take a look at NQ as well. Okay, NQ filled all of those orders, but it's ES I'm more interested. I want to see if we do reject, and I can change this back to 50. Let's go 45. Basically, we're just kind of like hiding the small orders in between price, but you can see a ladder just below 22 and then 20, and then all the way down at 15 again, that big buyer. Remember, if they fail here, we'll look for the low, and the low will be around that. Let's go 10s down there. An idea when Quantower will be available on Mac? No. I do remember speaking to the chap there, and on Mac it was gonna. He said it's planned, but it's gonna take a while. But you can use parallels on Mac, but I know it's not the same. Can you see these buys and sells on TradingView? I'm not sure. I mean, I use on TradingView. Let me just see. I mean, you can use at the current ones. Let me just share here. You can use the footprint now, and you can go, for example, Delta, or the ladder, and you can see it slightly. I don't know if you can see that. So this is a TradingView. But it's not as clean and good as you have a proper, but yeah, it's usable. You can use this. You can either go ladder or, you know, buy and sell, which is pretty much the same thing, but it just kind of like filters out a little bit. So you can actually, you know, zoom in on like that proper selling and buying. Yeah, for trading view, I prefer to use the total. But you can see it. You can see those orders on what's it called, on trading view, but you're not going to see the limits. Okay, you're not going to see the limits like this in the books. So these are real orders right here waiting in the books. So at 24, you've got about 58, and I can make it visible so that you can actually see. So there's the big ones up there, and there's the big ones down here, and then in between there's 109 lots. There's not much to the upside. That's what I was saying earlier. It's low liquidity because I'm up 45, and you know, there's not much in between. Typically it's like 150 filter, but they're still holding here, those 25s. But yeah, we're at a interesting level here on both markets. Is Daniel in the house? Someone said, love you, Daniel, but I'm not Daniel. Some people say I look like Daniel. Nice. Okay. What are your opinions on ETH for the long run? I mean, ETH is on. Let me just load a different chart here so we can keep an eye on different markets. Let me just load a chart where we can. There you go. There's another reaction there. So let's take a look at the trading list here, and let's go to ETH, and I'll keep this one for the requests. So if you want to look at request, we'll use this one. Where's ETH? There we go. Let's share this here. I'm just going to load the white chart because I know, and I think this is it, because I obviously stream for the community quite a lot. I do create a few charts because when I look at it like after the stream, sometimes I can see that it's quite hard to see the dark charts. But yeah, ETH, I don't know. ETH has been, I mean, like go back to 2021, ETH was around 2K, and you come back to 2025 and ETH is still at 2K. It's like a stable coin, right? You know, it's just, you know, this is value. So, you know, the fair value for ETH is, you know, 1500 to 2K. It doesn't look bearish or bullish. It just looks neutral. You know, this is a neutral market that is not decided what it wants to do. When you look at BTC, for example, you can see a chart that it's actually on an uptrend still, even though we have a nice 30% pullback now down to 76K. It's still, when you zoom out, it's still on a really nice uptrend. So, you know, BTC a little bit better than ETH, and I prefer Solana, Sui to ETH, really, to be honest. I think these are the new kids in the block, and we are still struggling with those 25s. I mean, look at this. Look how many times we've hit those orders, and look, it gets filled and then it comes back again. So there's some interest here on those 25s. So if we do lose, I would say 19s, this will be a quick move all the way down. But, you know, reclaiming this, then that means this trader can then get really squeezed out, and we will be back inside value in no time. We've got 4 minutes now to the top of the hour, so that will be interesting to see if we're going to get the flush or the squeeze. But yeah, so, you know, when you speak about ETH, yeah, I'm not sure here. I'd have to go. I mean, this is a weekly chart, by the way. Even on a 6 month, it just doesn't look the best, does it? I prefer BTC. BTC is like the main thing, and I actually prefer the CME on BTC. Much better to trade, better respect. There you go. There's where we're bouncing from on this chart. There you go. That sell is still coming in on that 25. It'll be interesting. TPO is always 30 minutes. Always. So I'm always looking at the 30 minute for the TPO. So we've got 3 minutes for this period to finish. Interesting. It's been a 30 minutes of a complete slow grind on both markets, ES and NQ. But remember, like losing that 18 can push this down very, very quickly. But I'll keep this one here for the requests. So if you have any other requests, so we've looked at, so yeah, to be honest, like going back to ETH, I don't really have anything like long-term ETH because I just can't really see it now. I'd want to see it come out of, you know, I mean, you could argue, to be honest, you could argue that we are at support, and look at that, at that 1700, but we need like an injection, because without that injection of like fear or, you know, stop hunt, it doesn't give you the fuel to then go. Typically you want to see like a fake out of like a consolidation. Let's say we consolidate here for another, this is the weekly chart, another 3 or 4 weeks, and then you want to see like the stops that were put below that low to be completely taken out, and then you can get going. And you can see that this can take some time to change the trend. So sometimes it's best to be a little bit late, but then you have a confirmation, than to be a bit early, you buy now, and then it can still drop another 10%. So I would be very cautious on ETH, because it's just not very clear when you compare it to BTC, and it's very much like, okay, we have structure. You know, this has structure. Like even that 50K was beautiful. I mean, pop at 200 here, and you'll see how beautiful this is. Let's go to the daily. I mean, look at that. Let's just hide everything. I'm going to delete everything here and just keep the actual 200 SMA, and I'm going to put it even a little bit thicker. Let's go there. So this is BTC, and you can see we are at least we have a solid trend. It's respecting the 200 SMA, higher time frame. You've got institutions looking at this. It looks nice, right? But when you look at ETH, it's like, yeah, what is this? It's, you know, there's no trend here. We're going sideways since 2021. So it's not the best. I mean, you know, buy and sell, like buy value area high. I mean, so sell value area high. Yeah, buy high, sell high, and buy low. Right, we got there in the end. But yeah, I hope you can see the difference between BTC and ETH. So you might as well trade something else. And Solana has just been listed on the, I mean, look at this. This is the new kid in the block. So Solana has just been listed on the CME. Yeah, it's, you know, we've had a good run, but we typically get these, you know, pumps and dumps as soon as it gets listed. But yeah, it's finding value around 125. So let's see what happens here over the next few years with Solana. But at least we do have Solana, and there's a micro Solana as well. And then just, you know, while we're in this chart here, we can look at NQ rejecting that 200 simple moving average on the daily. You can see that forever we've been above it, you know, as support. Even back in COVID, you can see like reclaim, go here, boom, go, and now it's the first time we've come down to it, and we kind of like flipping it bearish. So NQ and ES got a lot of work to do. We've just bounced from those 19,000s, but losing these lows. So this is where we're at peculiar place. So, you know, holding here would be nice, because then we can look above that, you know, 20,500 again, back to 21. That would be nice to see. And then yes, again, you know, with the same kind of like thesis, we've lost that 200, back tested it, and now like trading below. But here it's a little bit different. We're actually holding the low better than we are on ES. So it would be nice to have clarity today, whereby Trump comes out and says, you know what, it's a flat rate across the whole international, or whatever it is going to announce. And then people say, okay, we've got clarity. We can now go back into the market and put some risk on. You know, we're 10% down from all-time highs. You know, let's allocate some risk, and you know, this starts to, you know, eventually move higher. That would be my preferred scenario, to be honest, and then go back up to the 5800s, 80s, and then, you know, make another all-time high, really, potentially. So that would be the preferred order of business, and with BTC as well. BTC to kind of like hold this now, especially after yesterday's candle structure. We do have incoming resistance, like literally now, today. We do have this back test here, but to be honest, like if we just can continue squeezing, this will be squeezed and then we're back in the range, and then 90k is inevitable, and then we can just, you know, go back, make another all-time high. That's how I see BTC. You know, claim that 90k, we're going higher. Obviously no guarantees, and we've seen that sellers still stepping in on ES. He's still here. That 25, look, he's been doing all of this. That seller, you can see it 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and he's back again. So yeah, it's two things. One, and look, they came all the way down, but they held at 18. Remember that the level I said 18 needs to hold? They're still holding it, because if they break that, yeah, 15's incoming. So let's see if they're going to drop it now. Watching. Zoom in a little bit. I don't like to have this there. Questions? Oh, there you go. So we are breaking those 18s. So I'm going to hold that trade to see if we can at least go down to 15s next, and then potentially the 10s. It would be nice to get a flush from at least 12s, which is the current overnight low. And I would be a little bit surprised if they held now here. 618. It's a nice level, right? 618. Let's zoom in to see. I would be very surprised. Very low on the tape. So not really big orders coming through here. Because this is again a good level to hold here. Because it's the node on the way down, right? Look. So on the way down we created a node. So 618 is the upper bit of that. So let's see if they hold it. In other words, open the candle, come down to the node that it created, and then we can go back up above above D and break that one time framing down. So currently going through that node. I hope you can see it here, okay? I'm trying to zoom in so that you can actually see. And on the left there I've got the news coming in from good old Trading Financial Juice. This is not Atos, this is Quant Hour. I've already posted a link in the chat. Come on, let's get that flush down. It would be nice. I'd prefer the flush than holding here, these 18s. But we could see it. We could see it. Let me see NQ. Yeah, NQ did lose that little uptrend. See how it went and filled all of these orders. So all of this trader, he got filled. And I was like, okay, now we need to drop this to get in. But they're still finding buyers around the 55s. How long do we have? 25 minutes. Plenty of time. How do you determine if it holds or breaks a level? Well, you want to see, when it comes down to it, you want to see that increase in volume. So if you get an increase, like now, like you're getting that increase in volume, so you kind of like, you know, it's a good place, and you're getting on both markets, so you can actually see this on ES. So you come down to that nice level, and it's not 618 being the 618 level. Is, you know, it happens to be 5,618. But that was where those orders were, and it happens to be like the kind of like the midpoint of this whole range. So then traders are like, okay, this could be a nice place to hold this higher low and then take it much higher. So let's see if they hold. And then look down here on the bottom, you can see that as soon as they start moving out, you can see this little uptick in volume. I can make this a little bit bigger. If I remember what it is, I've not done this in a while, but I think it's somewhere in here. Volume, where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, there you go, found it. Height. Yeah, you want to see that uptick in volume when it gets down there. Okay, so you can see like as it came down to the low, it kind of like faded out, and this is actually delta. And then you want to see that kind of like move out of it with that impulsive. And then now what you want to see is that then new buyers come in and push price higher. So you want to see this ladder. So it was 18. So you want to see the ladder now starting to push this up, which they're doing now. But we can't really see those orders because I've got this filter. But if we just go back to standard or auto, you'll be able to see, there you go. So 20s, 21s, and they kind of like try and squeeze this higher. And then that short trader from up here earlier, he then decides to, there you go. So you can see there, so flashing to fill that order, and it got filled with quite a nice volume there. Do you recommend a yes or no? I like both. I like to trade both, but you can see how they pushed and held that 18. I like both. It depends. It depends on the market. If we're moving, depends on how we're moving. I will just be like this. Let's like earlier when we made the low on NQ. The risk for me was going to be a bit too much, like you know, $600 risk. So when you look at ES with kind of like the same trade, you can then hold a little bit longer, and it's like half the risk. But you kind of are on a similar trade, if that makes any sense. Just check my Discord. Keeps popping up. Okay, let me look at the rest of the questions. We've got about 20 minutes for market open. Yeah, like I said, for yes and NQ, given the explanation, it depends on the risk, and sometimes when it's really volatile, I will just load 5 micros and halve the risk. Are you still 60 million? Well, that is funny. Yes, sitting under my bed. Why is the micro view on Polkadot? Gosh, I've not looked at those coins in a long time. Maybe a little bit later. Remind me again, we can take a look. Do you use footprint candles for entry confirmation? If so, which triggers do you use? The nicest one really to understand is traps. Like let's say you have a lot of like cells trapped below a level, and for that, I mean, actually we're in a good place. Like here, let's say you're coming down to a level and you've got a lot of like people trapped down here, and you can see that on the delta, especially when it's actually happening, like real lifetime. You can actually see them getting trapped, especially if you can then get this on with the tape so that you know they're actually being trapped. And you can see how much how many traders have been trapped and the size. Then you know, okay, well, that was a big size. If we start running, then you know you get a nice little scalp trade. Yeah, good question, like it. So yeah, I'm using a combination of like the horizontal levels to monitor those traps, and you'll see as soon as the RTH starts to print, we'll see this here. So we'll have a new profile build, and then I'll show you how it is. Got a lot of old coins. Expecting lower NQ before the bounce. It would be nice to at least come and clean the lows. It would be nice, but like I said earlier, we are below value. Outside value low, so it kind of like means that price sometimes likes to just kind of like, you know, move up a little bit to just reel in some like late traders, and then it goes and does the finish move. So we could still have a little bit of time there. And as it stands, we're going to open the market. I mean, we've not finished this period yet, but we're going to open around value low from yesterday. So yeah, it's not a place. I mean, put it this way, it's tricky for shorts and it's tricky for longs where we are, because shorts, we're at value low and we're still cooking that short there, which is going nowhere, still at entry, which is those 20s. So really, we're kind of like in a waiting mode here. What indicator do you use on Attis to de-risk? on Attis is the DOM levels, and I've made a template for the members. I actually spent a week with this market, with this template alongside both ES and NQ, and I customize it so that it looked just like this. So the champions now, when they're using Attis, I believe some of them will have like a similar sort of like view. Okay. Just going through the chat. Nice one. Yeah, New York open in 17 minutes. Sunshine Girl, NASDAQ and SP are both up pre-market trading both, but futures are down at the moment. But that can change it exactly. Okay. Just gonna go back to ES. We are losing those. Well, we're coming back down to those 18s. Let's see if they flush through those 18s here live on. Look at that, still holding. Come on. Let's see. Interesting, right? The buyer came in at 18, which is that 618, the Fibonacci golden pocket. Our CC. And they're still holding, look at that. But with low orders. Okay, I've got the tape filtered, and you can see not many coming through the tape. They're still holding 618 there. If they can lose this 17 here, we can then look for that low there. So first target, at least the lows would be nice. But they still kind of holding that there. Just gonna go back to the beginning. I think I may have missed a couple of questions there. If I am blowing my accounts, I am thinking to start trading ES over NQ. What do you think, Satnan? I would say the ES will have less. That's why I like trading the ES, because it will have less, I call them erratic moves, and it's down to the spread. Sometimes, like the spread on here is one tick, and I can make this ES. I currently have it on the micros there, but the spread is one tick, and typically when you have data, news, whatever, the spread on NQ goes like berserk. Which by the time you press, let's say you go into an order like here, let's say you want to buy or sell, it chops through these levels very quickly. So, you know, whereby on ES, you could go with 2 lots, you're going to have nice tight price action, meaning like, let's say 2 lots, 300 quid or dollars, you know, risk. With NQ, 1 lot, it's like 600, depending on how the tape is, like the actual level 2. So this tool is very helpful, but it can also be a little bit overwhelming when, you know, if you just spend too much time looking at it. But it can be very, very helpful if you know what you're looking for. I find it very, very useful, and in fact it's my main sort of tool for trading when coupled with a market profile. I feel like I can get everything from these two charts. One is the previous levels as well as like current price action, and then the actual real orders in the market. Because sometimes you hear people say, oh, liquidity here, liquidity there, and they're just pointing out a chart with nothing there. And I'm thinking, well, okay, that's all beautiful and, you know, nice, but these are the orders. You can see them. Yes, there's going to be iceberg orders. There's going to be like, you know, traders hiding stuff. But, you know, once it goes through the tape, and this is why you have to use this with a tape, well, you can see the signature is there. This trader got filled. That trader got filled. You can actually see this is a visual representation of the tape. So instead of going through the tape and thinking, oh, earlier around 1347, there was a 118 lot bought. Okay. Then you can go back and see it. Okay, so very, very powerful information. There we go, going through those 17s, but that buyer is still there. You can see it. Just keep an eye. About 25 lots there. Okay, let's go down to present. Hello, Scott is in the house. Simon C is short from 84.350. Was hoping for another drop before New York Open, but we are getting closer to the open. Yeah, BTC. I mean, you might still get it. It would be nice to get a flush down to 84.200. That would be nice. It would be nice to get that flush down. I would like that a lot. I'm actually going to hide overnight. Just keep yesterday's. That would be nice. Still holding this level. The market might slow down a little bit now. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can see that flush through the 10s, 15s next, and then 10s. Has he seen the BTC levels for today? Who? If you could trade only one strategy to pass a 50k combine, what strategy would that be? Well, I find, I mean, there's quite a few, but I would recommend you just use like something very simple, which is consistent, like very, very simple, such as a 50 simple moving average, and then wait for a trend to form. And then once it gets forming, just jump on that train with that trend, because I mean, a lot of people will look like lower, like 8, 9 simple moving average and stuff, but the 50 tends to give a nice reaction because it goes a little bit further away from price when on a really well-defined trend. So when you get that little retest of that 50, just wait for that nice 1 minute candle to close back below, and then you can jump, and then you can just use that as your stop. If you go with the minis, one lot will give you, you know, let's say, you know, consistently like 250 a day, and then you can pass those things. And if you go micros, then yeah, we're gonna have to work double, but it's still possible. And there we go. We're still holding these lows here. This is becoming a little bit painful to watch this here without a drop. They're still finding buyers here, and look, big one there on NQ. Got 9 minutes left. Just gonna sip some water. What's up, Scott? How you doing, mate? I think 86k is good. Is a good short, but still watch the reaction first. We could get a short squeeze. I think it's gonna all be dependent on what happens today. To be honest, I think, and look, from a higher time frame point of view, let me just go to this chart here. From a higher time frame point of view, we have just had the month open, and it's always nice when we get the open. Okay, so let me just put this on the bars. It's always nice when you get the open and you move up a little bit to reel in some, some nice trades, especially where we are now, and then come down and print the kind of low of the month, okay, where we can then scoop nice orders. You can give yourself a max risk of, let's call it 78,500 as like, that would be a nice place to come down to. But if it does go further than that, in other words 78k, it becomes problematic, where you would be looking for the actual low of the move at 76. So yeah, I would still like to see now, and this is what I said yesterday on my plan. I said it would be nice to get a rise for then look, I'd like to see a rise for a great opportunity to enter a short for a nice drop to make the monthly low. This is what I kind of like explained yesterday or Monday on my plan, and it's very much like open, go higher, reel in, nice, the long trades, the late, late bulls up here, trap them and then drop and then fold those trades, couple them with long trades, and then go back up. And then when price is up here, these traders will be like, oh, but we were right on idea, but we just got stopped out. And that happens a lot. So it'd be nice to have that happen on price. In other words, currently where we are would be a nice place to then start heading back down. If ES and NQ play ball as well. That would be my preferred scenario. And that max sort of like leveled on there at 78,600. And then when you come down to a lower time frame, like a 1 hour, you can then see what that looks like. So you'd have price rejecting this 200 on the 1 hour. Okay, you have the low, you have the low to the left, you have this higher high here in relation to this. You've lost that, so typically you look for the low, but let's see if this here holds, this 80k, then we could go off to the races and you can use that as your stop. But that max pain that the champions know of would be yeah, the smiley face. There you go, Simon C, the smiley face. And for those of you wondering what's the smiley face, you've got like a couple of eyeballs there, and we go off to the races. That would be nice. Something like that. I used to be good at drawing, but not anymore. My daughters beat me to it. So what's the max pain? I mean, for here, I would say that 71k. I have it down here. I have my max pain. And just out of curiosity, what chart can you see better? This one or this one? Let's just go back to the daily here. Which one is easier for you to see? Actually, that's nice. That's a good question. Is this easier or this? Like with the whites. But yeah, my max pain is 70,980. Okay, let's say we do drop from here. Let's say we do drop from here and we manage to keep our stops here and stuff. I would love to see this. I would love to see 70k. Right, this one. Ah, interesting. Both. Okay. Good to know. But yeah, my max pain would be down there. Well, max pain, in fact, it's not really max pain. It's nice. But yeah, we're coming down now. Let's see if we can manage this a little bit better. But we're coming down to that 15. That's the first big level. So I'm going to move my stop now. So whatever happens to this trade, we're risk-free. And we want to kind of like see that move through it. Okay. So this is why I like to box it in, meaning like we can now move our stop, let's say 19. We know that seller was there around the 21s the whole time. In fact, we can go and see it. We can actually go and use like a market profile tool here. And we can actually use our stop just above that point of control. If it comes up, that is. We go 2 ticks. Boom, 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 boom. Just trying to load something here. If I can. It's around 20. I'll do, oh yeah, wrong screen. I'll do it here as well. Let's go to this. So let's choose as soon as it got out here. So between there and the retest, 21, yeah, between 20 and 21, that's where that seller still kept coming in. And now we have the opposite. We have a place where we've got the low, we've got price coming back down into those 15s where those big orders were. They've been absorbed now. 174, we have here about 28, 200, so quite a few orders down there. But let's see if we can get that nice rotation through the 10s. 10s would be nice. NQ already taken the low, so NQ a little bit fast there, so it would have been, but here's what I was explaining. There's less liquidity, so when you look at NQ, each and every single one of these levels will be like 1 lot, 2 lots, so it's not enough to hold price. So price will just go through that like butter, so you're kind of like risking always a little bit too much when you're trading there. So let's keep an eye, see if we can hold those 15s. Got about 2 minutes for market open. Might have to leave the market a little bit alone as it starts, just in case it gets a bit too crazy. NQ taking the low. The light is better early in the day, dark is better later. Yeah, I like that. Our advisors so, yep, perfect. Okay, well, white seems to be the preferred choice there. All right, we've got a lot of the books just got thick. Can you see this here? Like all of the, look, it's like an algo have just switched on. You can see, like, look at all of that thickness now. So between about 27, 3 minutes ago, well, 3 minutes to go, and it starts to thicken up. So the liquidity is pretty much double between those levels. So it's gone from 20s to 50s. So I think what we can do here is just kind of like box in our trade. At least make a little bit on that. I hope you can see that, like this kind of like switch on here from just 14s, which was the low from earlier. And I'm going to manage this trade by just moving my stop to each and every single swing high on a 15-second chart, okay? That way we can trail this down. And you can see this going through the levels. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see 20 seconds. And yeah, we've got the market open. And I'm just boxing it all in now because we're coming down to those 10s that I was looking for anyway. So we're up about $400 there on that. So I'm going to use the second 15 candle now. Let go of that there because we've taken the low, and I'll show you that here. There you go. So stock market is open. Quick move back up. We get stopped out on our trade in profit. And now I'm going to use this screen so that we can start tracking these buyers and sellers. Be nice if we could snipe along here from the open. I'm going to go down to a tick 1 on the RTH. Oops. I want to see all the sensitivity here. Okay, we're open there. Very tight, around the 14s. Okay, remember the 10s. There you go. So going through the 10s. If they trap some traders down here, I will take a quick scalp long. I want to see at least. Getting a little buy here. Gonna try and take a little long scalp here. Go with this move back inside. See if it holds, or if they're gonna see the 10s first. Okay, here's a little buyback. I like the 19 volume down there. A little bit volatile with the big, expansion move from the open there. But I'll talk you through what I saw down there that I really like. And now we can just de-risk this trade and just move this higher as price is seeking that. I'm happy to lock a little bit more here. 400 from earlier. This is currently 3 there. And I'll show you this on this side. You can see we're going through. Really nice. So that's another 430 there. EQ, those. And it was the 10 from earlier. So let's move this all the way up to lock as much as we can. See if we can touch that K low there at 25. So 25s. I'm going to push it down to here so you can see. There you go. Get stopped there in a second if we come down below those 21s. And for now, let's see if they can squeeze through those 25s. Just going to move this down a little bit so we can see those orders. Okay, so 2150 is the low. Then we can move it to 2150, our stop, and look for those 25s. See if they leave us alone. There you go. You can see that bid support coming in at 22. And there you go, there's 25. So we can go up to this side and move our stop. Oh, I'm actually going to use 22. I'm happy with another 500 bucks. But yeah, you can see here, it's going through into value low as well. K period low from yesterday. So this is a little bit here that it could find a little wall. So let's keep an eye on the volume now. This is what I like to see. So for any good value or rotation, you want to see volume increase. Yeah, that turns out to be an okay trade. So we can now move price down to, I would say, let me just look here on the right. 26, 25. There you go. So a lot of sales coming in. So we want to kind of capitalize as much as we can. Let's see if they get fill at 30s and still push. And then previous day value low. So that's... I'm just looking. So basically I'm boxing in the trade by not having the take profit like preset, so that we can capture as much as we can from the move, and using the level 2 for the real orders coming into the market. So every time we're making a swing low here, this is like a very low time frame tick chart, okay? So tick by tick, and you can see those orders coming in. Market likes to go filler, and then you just use the second higher low. So currently 29, so we are at 28, 28.50. So we can just maximize our kind of like trade and not get stopped out before a nice move. But you can see like how thick this is becoming here. So those sellers really trying to fill their orders here. We're a little bit away from VWAP. So at this point you want to say, okay, well, if we break here, we're going to go a little bit further into that 35 zone. But it's good to just maximize your profits and see just maximize your profits basically. That's what I like to do. So let's see, there you go, 30s. I might take the lows just gently there and then go, so I can then use that 29, what's that, 29.50, currently at 28.75. And there you go. So they held at 29.50. So now what I can do is just use that as my low, and this is a 15-second chart. Okay, so just kind of like mirror what I have here. They've hit those 35s and we're still cooking that same trade. So it's nice, and there you go. There's previous day value area low. Okay, looking at the profile, still okay. Low auction up there, so 33 lots, 100. So still going through that. And at this point, we want to lock as much as we can and bank another, what's that, $1,000 on one trade. Let's see if they actually tap those 35s. That'd be nice. Come on. And filling 170 lots. And there you go. So, and this is what I call and say about using the boxing method. It's very effective when you get into that nice trade. And there you go, previous day value. You want to be out of that trade now if it comes below those 33s. So my stop is 33. Let's put at 25 because we are at value. And you can see how well respected these levels are, right? That was exactly at previous day value area low. Look at that. So 35. So now we can use our stop higher. We can go, there's no higher lows here, so we can go all the way up to 37. I'm going to go 35s. 35.50 now. Let's just push this down. Point of control, 40s. Okay, so let's go into the 40s. So we're at 40s now. That's the point of control. And we're using basically the higher lows to the left. So I'm actually going to go down to a 5 seconds now. And here we can actually use a line chart. And we'll have something similar to the DSF. So we can actually monitor. So 37. So we can go to 37 now. That's where I am. But I'm going to go a little bit higher because it's nice to capture yeah, $1,500. That's a really good trade actually from the open. Let's go to 1 minute. Coming up. Nice squeeze. And then we can just keep expanding that take profit. Go back down to 15 seconds. Going through the 40s in style. Look at that. So between the 40s, VWAP above as well. Let's just enable our VWAP as well here on TradingView. We actually back tested the VWAP. It's right there, so we can use that point of control, which was the 40s. But I like this. I'm going to secure this a little bit more. Let's look for the 50s. 50s next. So stop to 44, 45 here. So currently stop at 44.75. And let me just look left now to see what else we have. Okay, yesterday's initial balance high, so that's sitting in at 50. So 50 will be a good level. I'm happy. I can see a pullback back down to VWAP, so I'm happy to push this higher, just in case we do get a little pullback, because this is going to be a little bit of resistance here. So that's 56.50, and there you go. There's the pullback down into that nice order down 45. But I see this potentially. Let me just see 46 holding, and there you go. Getting that pullback down to the 40s at least. 40s would be nice. We've been stopped out, as you can see there. So we maximize this trade to the absolute best we could do. So basically all of this run by boxing in a trade. And yeah, there you go. Let me know in the chat if any of you caught that trade with us. We locked a little bit of profits there. I'm just looking to see if we're going to get a retest to the 41s. But yeah, let me know if you caught that. I mean, look at this. We actually caught the low of the move from the overnight low. That's the overnight low all the way to the high. And it's just by using that boxing method. So I think a lot of traders, for example, and this is something, and the champions will know this, or the people in the group. A lot of traders will come in and ask quite a lot from the market. They will say, I'm only going to trade... let me just go forward. I'm only going to trade New York Open. I'm only going to trade if I get a retracement or a break. I'm only going to trade this 10 minutes and I'm going to look for 500. Right, this is what they ask. So they're asking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're asking so many questions of the market, which already set them to failure. What is best to do is have a little plan of what we want to do, come into the market and say, okay, well, if I get what I typically see, and by that I mean like a nice signature on the market. We know we had the 10s, that's what we're looking for. We took the short into the 10s, we held while that big trader was feeling that short, feeling. So there was kind of like a nice probability that he was going to drop to it. On the market profile down there, we also saw that the 50% of C was holding. We came up on the D, didn't close much above, came back below, E open, and then there you go. So this is when we came down to finish that auction. Open, looked below, there you go. That was a trade into the tens and then rip. So, and then remember, we were taking that short below value. However, we were waiting for it to at least get to those 21s and 23s. So you're never going to see me short the absolute low because I'm always looking at value, and value was all the way up there. So, you know, just a few things going on here. So going back to what I was trying to say, like people ask a lot from the market instead of, well, and the other thing they say is, oh yeah, because I'm looking for $500, you know, these are my 10 points. So they will actually do this. They will actually put their stop down here, and I'm using an old-fashioned way of doing this. So this will be your risk. Okay, let's go risk. They'll be like, okay, I'm going to risk 2.5 points, 5, whatever it is, and then I want 8 points. And when it gets there, say, let's say the trade starts to go, you know, like comes to your entry print, you know, you're happy, perfect. It gets to target, they close their trade, and then they get this. Price continues, and they're like, oh wow, that would have been a really amazing runner. And often we hear people say, oh, keep your runners, you know, running, and your losers, you know, short, like meaning like just cut them loose, which is the best thing to do, and they are right. But a lot of traders don't really quite know how to do that, and I feel like having something like a little rule or a little clear, you know, clean structure. And I call it the box in. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect because you're literally looking at the heartbeat of the market, but coupling it with actually real orders. And then you look here on the market profile, and I hope it's not very confusing, but when you look here on the market profile, you have each and every single level, not just from today, but from yesterday also. So you've got, like, when we were coming up to those 50s, what did we have? We had the 50s at the initial balance high from yesterday. That's typically a good level. And look, we're getting a little reaction. We've come back inside into that VWAP. So, you know, it is very good practice to look left, see what we have in terms of levels, and then react to that, to those orders coming in. And then here on the right, it's if we filter now, and remember earlier we're filtering this to 45. Now we have to go much higher. We have to go 350 at least, and we have to go 100. And then you'll see those orders on the way up, like being filled like beautifully. Especially when we came up to those 33s and 35s, which was, look, the value area low. Okay, so the market basically came inside, and it was just like knocking on the door. Please, can I come in? And it did that a few times. Look at this. It's so beautiful when it does. Like, comes in once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and then boom, blast straight through, and then you get a retest. Let's delete that. So yeah, kind of like beautiful how you get these respects. And look, VWAP, a lot of traders would have like, oh no, I'm going to short VWAP. But look, we actually got the retest, and we saw that on the 1 second chart, or, you know, millisecond chart here on TradingView. So you can actually use TradingView for that. And there's that little retest, and the market is still going. And it's what I was saying, like the market likes clarity, and I think today will have clarity. But yeah, brilliant trade. Nice to be in the zone. Nice to be locked in to price. You can actually, we can leave these filtered a little bit, reduce some of the noise, and there you go. So it's 54.50 next, if they keep it there. Anyway, I'm going to take a look at the chat, make sure that there were some W's there at least. Awesome trade. You are welcome. Roto all the way, nice. Trade BB2 is in the house. Hello, my friend. NQ also, that was, and yeah, and this is why I do like ES a lot. But on NQ, let's take a look. NQ must have ripped. But a lot of traders, I know. Oh, look at that beautiful retest of the VWAP. Wow, look at that. God, talk about perfection. Like, that is just sometimes, and I have told the members this, sometimes you get these like perfect moves, and it's like, for real. Yeah, kind of crazy. Value area high now. That's insane. We've done a full rotation already. Let's go back to let me just clean this up. Yeah, we're already up there, gosh. And the low on NQ happened to be the weekly open. Look at that. The actual low was the weekly open, overnight low. Wow, that was also a good trade. So on the 1 minute we can see here, so we open, we come down, take the overnight to basically say finished business, and then we rip, and that is the weekly open. So when we put the weekly here, you can see that's the weekly open. Wow, look how precise that is. Back down to 1 minute. Let's really zoom in. Oh wow, look at that. What is the risk here? 3 points on NQ. Really good trades. We've just gone over that, so I hope that answered the question. The reason for the long was in the zone and not watching the stream and caught the nice, perfect. Who cares about BTC, man? Trade really. Well, the thing is, BTC is nice. Like honestly, like when the confluences are there, BTC can really give us nice trades. Yeah, BTC is nice, mate. I like BTC. BTC can give really nice trades, but obviously I'm not looking for that short there. That was from earlier. But yeah, BTC is nice. You know, it's the nice new asset there. Okay. Someone is saying don't short BTC, massive pumping coming. Yeah, I'm not interested in shorts. I will if, I mean, depending on the context, but like I said today, I don't know. I've got this feeling that these tariffs will hopefully be a nice way of giving clarity to the markets, which means risk on, right? So yeah, this is a big initial balance, high and low so far, and we already, yeah, we only traded, look at this, we have, wow, we're gonna have a choppy day. We have 193 ticks of range already, and we are still in A period. Wow. And value, let's take a look at value, is all the way up here. Keep an eye. See if we can catch another trade. Mm-hmm. 86,200 it, is that so? Let's have a look. Yep, we're there. So we're into the gap. Let it go. And I mean, you know, you just saw there, I mean, you've got NQ and ES ripping. So you have to look at BTC the same way. But yeah, that is the gap fill now. So this is the gap fill, which comes from this day here. Can do bars. Let's go daily. There you go, we're into it now. Right there. So let's see if we get acceptance. 87k. If we go through there, it's 77k. Which is all the way up there. Very nice. Good to see. All right, let's go back to here. Okay, so we've moved quite a fair bit. Okay, so this is a big candle, which means the risk is a little bit higher. So let's see if we get a nice structure to the downside to jump into a long trade. Okay, so direction is up. So we're on one time framing. This is the 1 minute chart. We're one time framing higher. I'm going to move this chart down to a 15 minute now. Oops, not this one, this one. Okay, we're going to expand that. Going to zoom out a little bit. So we held that higher low there. So let's move this out of the way and let's focus locally. So let's take a look at the highs. That's been taken this morning. So let's go to 6666. So 66, not a lot there. Let's take a look at, let's go 80. Surprisingly, there's not really much stuff above price until we get to the 80s. Yeah, there's really not anything until we get to the 80s, because everything, and so we're 76, 80s is all the way up there. So what was that then? We had 60. So we've got some at 60, which is literally just here. So 60, 50. We've just tapped it. Okay, so that's the only one that we have. In fact, let's put this back there. Go down to 1 minute. Or, yep, 1 minute. So that's the only order that we had there, exactly at 60. So we can just go down to 60 there. We're going through that, but there's really not anything until we get back to the 80s. Okay, let me just quickly. Not even settlement, value area high. Yeah, we're looking above the settlement. Okay, VWAP sitting in at 40s, as we know. Yesterday's initial balance high 50s, so between 50s. So we've got 6 minutes to open B period. Best support is too far away, coming in at 36. Yesterday's open. So two things here. Because we don't really have anything until the 80s, we are technically still bearish. We're below the settlement, okay? So just because we had this pump doesn't necessarily mean it's mega bullish. We are below the settlement, okay? So this is still bearish for now. This is yesterday's open. This is today's open. So we've opened lower than yesterday. So there's something there. We've had the first initial move up. But yeah, all of the levels are actually... So we've got some here at the 50s, like I said. So 650 would be the first support. Coming down to that now. Let's mark it. I'm going to go to a 30 minute. We actually mark this properly. And this is the thing. With TradingView, I actually have to manually do everything. But with a market profile, you can just see it. So here's yesterday's open. Is that 30 minute there? There. Yeah, 50. There you go. So this is the IB high from yesterday. Okay, so we can go down to 1 minute and we're literally at it. Okay, there you go. So we've swept lows. And that's where the order is. How lovely is that? Look at that. Boom. So now, I don't know. I have a feel. If we start to get back inside here, I don't know. I've got a feeling that we could give this back. Let's see. I mean, holding is the bullish, but you know, not holding here. I mean, let's see what they do. This is interesting. Okay, so they're buying. We had 151 lots there bought on the bid. 151. So that's a sign that they're still here. From initial balance high, you can see there. So from this line. So this is the same line we've just marked. But you're coming back below there. I mean... Yeah, not many comments there. So please let me know if you're still here. We have currently... Do we have any viewers in the house? Yeah, if we have some people still here with us, you know, do like the video if you're enjoying, obviously, the content, and yeah, ask me some questions. I mean, I know I know we are looking at a few different things here, like obviously trading view. I like to keep an eye on the volume profile as well as market profile. We've been marking the levels as per obviously liquidity mainly and market profile levels. So if you have any questions, because as you can see there, when you're in the in the zone and when you're looking at the correct things, you can extract a little bit of capital from these markets. And I think if you can see, like, let's say we come in every day and take, let's say, 500, 200, 400, you always have to think like, we're stacking. And I said this the other day to one of the members, and I think he's finally realized exactly what I meant by that stacking. And it's just like every day looking to improve 1% consistently and just looking to improve. And I think here with this layout, and many of the champion members do follow along, because I know it can look a little bit overwhelming, but it's things that you don't need all of this, but it just helps you make your decision a little bit like, okay, I'm looking for a certain criteria to get into a trade. And then when I'm in that trade, the most important thing is maintaining that long trade, just like we did. That was a really nice runner, and I think a great example in a live market on how we can go from being in a short trade, looking at value, looking at all of these different components that the market profile gives us, as well as real liquidity. And it was all based on this. Like, we were looking at all of this. Obviously this template here, I'm breaking it down just to look at regular trading hours, and it's a game changer really. And then up here I'm looking at the full day. Obviously this is down here because I was looking at the low, but here where we are now, and you saw there 60 was the high. We marked it before it even happened. We looked at it and was like, well, above 60 there's really nothing. We adjusted it, we looked above 60, and now we're coming back down. Where did we stop? Initial balance high. From where? From yesterday. There we go. So that's where those orders are all being built. So there's such the amount of kind of like knowledge that you could just go, whoa, that's a bit too much. But when you understand and you spend a few days looking at it and you kind of like comfortable, okay, well actually it's pretty simple. It's just a we're looking at a level from yesterday, which traders look. And the reason why it works is a lot of traders look at those references, so it works. And I know we always a lot of people always criticize Bitcoin and stuff, but the reason that sometimes Bitcoin is a little bit like slow, it's because the market, this market's got a lot of traders globally looking at it, and we are quoted one price. I think this is what I like the CME. So you do have more opportunities compared to crypto, because there's just more setups throughout the day. And there you go. They are holding that initial balance high, but struggled there for a second. They struggled a little bit here. So let's sync this in the layout to see, like, there you go. There's that 60. Because when you look at order flow, okay, this is what's important about combining the two. When you look at order flow, that above that 60, that was the 60 high. And this is why ES becomes a little bit better than NQ sometimes, because above there's really nothing. And this is new. This only just popped up. So this seller only just popped in here. But look, the seller at 60 didn't quite get filled fully. So he got filled on 440, okay, there across the whole, market. But there's not much. So what this means often, okay, well, if you see this often, what it means is that auction could be finished for now, and then you get a counter auction. And look, that auction netted around 500. So if you went with that auction down to the next level of where the actual liquidity was, you can see how this books. And there you go. We've got B session open now. And again, look at this at the top of the hour. That's when that liquidity pumps in. The new what's it called, period open. So yeah, chat, let's have a look. Still okay, yeah. I thought I was going on my own because it was very quiet. Still here. Blessing, still here. Okay, perfect. Always here. You could just saw your stream now. Oh, nice, picks of in. Great content as always. I am here. Yes, love. Okay, perfect. When trading micros, do you scale in or scale out? Well, when trading micros, okay, the best thing I like to do is to literally go, the first scale in has to be 5. And the reason for that, it's because if you go with less than 5, you know, you have to work a lot. Wow, look at this really run. What I said, like, there's nothing above this here. And I think my camera went to sleep, so I'm not sure why it does that. But yeah, when it gets above this, I mean, you have to look for those 68s. Let's see if it actually gets there, because that's the next pocket where it's likely priced to reach. And sometimes when I'm trading here and really in the zone, I will then get in and this confirmation and use this. Like, for example, I would have got in there at 63, aiming for those 68s, and use my stop literally just here. So you can see from that 63 down to that low is like $50 risk. And then you just box it in again. So you keep boxing in that trade. And then when it gets to target, you can either continue boxing in like that. So you box in, move your stop now to 64. And then as soon as that 68 hits, you move your stop to 67. So you've made that, you know, $125. But it's like, you know, $50 for 125. With the fees in the CME, it's super cheap. That means you've got a 2-to-1 risk to reward on the momentum-based trade. And it really helps pay the bills. Keep the lights on. If I create an AMP account and send money there, do I need to buy the data to use QT? If you want to just trade the CME, I think it's about $6 to $10 a month for the CME data. And but to be quite honest, I would pay the full market depth, so you have the full depth. Okay, here. That's what I would do. I would pay the full. So you'd want to have the full depth. And there's the 70s. Wow, this is really ripping here. But yeah, you do get access to the whole program. You get it for free. AMP. Pardon me. Master Bora Portugal. Igor for president. No thanks. I'm capable of stacking, but one time in a couple of months I lose a lot, and I'm going back in all my profits. What should I optimize to protect myself from such situations? Dima, do you use the DOM surface or the liquidity map like we have here? Do you use this? Do you use like the box-in method? Basically just trying to capitalize as much as you can on those nice runners. So you just keep moving stop loss up, take profit up, and just keep moving in tangent with price. I would work on that. There is a bunch of well, the market is moving higher. Okay, so the market is moving higher. The context here on BTC, it's very much the claim. I mean, break 87, and there's a high probability or the odds of seeing 90k increase, because we've looked. Okay, you have to think about it this like an auction, right? And we had this kind of like bearish flag, and then we broke it, okay, with confirmation below, and now it's very much like this is a confirmed bear flag, and we've just back tested now. We're back testing, which is that kind of 87k, and that's what I shared with the champs. If this here is the resistance, I would like to see the max pain scenario, but I'm aware that we could pause there at, you know, the 200 by the time it gets there, and that could be nice, you know, out and potential long trade. But in my opinion, I'd like to see it go through. So in other words, the 200 stays there and we go through it, max pain 70k, and then back above it. So when you zoom out, okay, you have something like this where that 200 continues, then going higher, eventually like this, okay, and then the 50 will be somewhere up there, which we're gonna put it on now. There you go. So we can go all the way up to the 50, find that resistance, and then you get this kind of like moving back up with price doing this and then going. That's what I would like to see. So yeah, it would make sense to reject here this 87s. And now the other side is, if that doesn't happen, let me just complete everything. If that doesn't happen and we do see above 87 just now, let's say we start closing above 87, this high is very likely, and we'll go above the high into the 50. Okay, so if 1, then 2 scenario. And I hope that makes sense. Okay, use those 2 moving average on the higher time frame for BTC. Very well respected. A couple of these are long strapped. Okay, yeah. Still long from 19343. Wow, was it? That is nice. The overnight low. Oh, stop that. Okay, nice one. Listening carefully. 54 million long just open on BTC. Pump needs to continue. Yeah, look at that. We're on that 19,607, which happens to be the settlement. Okay, so that is the resistance. So we went through that pocket, even on ES, we went through that pocket of no liquidity straight into this pocket here. So, and it was very much like break that, you have to look for this one here. 70s, and then obviously the next one was 80, wasn't it? All the way up there. Is there a DOM solution for Mac? I have no idea, but I know you can use this on Parallels, or just buy a little Windows laptop to use it. Who do you pay? Are you using Rhythmic? Okay, so you can use CQG via AMP, for example. You can have Rhythmic. I actually have 2. I have Rhythmic and I have twice actually. I have Rhythmic on AMP and CQG, and then I have Rhythmic with Optimus Futures. And I like both platforms. I mean both brokers. Okay, there's that. Big data release in 27 minutes. Okay, let's take a look at that. Wow, is this the time already? Jeez, we've been going... This goes quick. All right, so yes, please don't forget to smash the likes there. We don't usually stream and do live streams like this much on YouTube. But let me know if you're enjoying the content. And I know, again, for some people, you look at all of these different things and you might be like, oh, this is a little bit too much. But, you know, at Chat Champions, like where we've been for many, many years now, we break it all down. And every day I come into the market and I do analysis like this where I'm looking and I'm breaking it down from, you know, the daily, weekly, monthly. I go over yesterday's profile. We covered the overnight. Very similar to Jim Dalton and how he looks at the market with a sentiment of who the competition is. You know, you will find some of those traits in me because I really like it. In fact, I'm currently reading the second book, which is amazing. But yeah, I really do enjoy the market profile because I can get a lot of information. For example, like even coming into today's, let's just look at this. For example, even coming to today's price action, you can just hide price. Let's hide the candles. Like there's no candles in here. And let's hide a VWAP as well. And I'm going to make TPO a little bit thicker. So let's go tick 10 or 25. Let's go 25. You know, just for the sake of this, and this is going to get bigger now. There you go. So now we have a big market profile here that you can see, okay, and you can see like a P shape here. So a P shape with a poor high as well. I mean, classic. So you have a P shape and you have the singles, okay. So you've got singles 1 hit, singles 2 hit overnight. Well, kind of not quite, but nearly. And it's very much like a P shape. It's a bullish one. Bullish, and look at what I said here. Bullish because the POC is higher. And this is why I like to look at this, because the POC is here. Here's the midpoint. Okay, value area low. You know, we open here. We come down. We trap those traders that want to go short for the break. Okay, we trap them all on here. And then boom, we squeeze them out. And there you go. And then we spend all of the afternoon up here. Okay, today we open, we come down to the single of yesterday, okay, singles, and then we go back up to clean that poor high. Perfect delivery. And that is the level that we were looking as our second level. First level, reaction, down. Second level, reaction, down again. It's kind of cool how it works. And just by looking at market profile. So yeah, we do this every day consistently. Like, I think that's the key word there, consistently, meaning every day we break down this plan. No matter if I do the morning update or if I don't do it, I still post it. Sometimes I forget, and then a few members say, "Where's your, where is your daily update?" And I'm like, "Oh, I forgot." But there you go. So that's BTC, and we do the same for the other markets as well. And there's that pullback from settlement. So yeah, like I said earlier, just because we pumped here from the open, that doesn't mean this is super, super bullish. Let's see, because that was level 1. We're still below the settlement, and I'm going to play a little bit more emphasis here on the NQ. Let's go back to here. Straight into the RTH view up. All right, some new players are coming in above the price. Okay, at 75. Okay, eyes on this. And what I can do, no, but I need this. Let me see if they can close this. See, 17 minutes. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's do some questions, please. If you have questions, let me know. I'll take some time to go over some of the questions. So please let me know which camera is here on this one. So that's the front one, that's the side. I'll keep this one on. You can see my setup. And yeah, and this is my setup. So currently I've got a laptop here, a screen there, a screen here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all 4Ks, curved screens. So I can keep an eye on everything. Camera in the middle there with a big flashy light that makes me blind. And that's yeah, that's my trading setup. So yeah, if you have any questions, yeah, let's smash the likes, pop them in now, and I'm happy to go over a few. And then depending on what happens I'll stay for for the rest of B session, and I'll see if we can get a trade on C session, okay, which typically sometimes can actually offer the best trade of the day. So sometimes you get the open trade, which we took today, and then often the C session, because think about it, you will have on this C session, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drill into a different tick size so that you can follow along. So I'm going to put tick 10, okay, which is going to compress all of this data, okay, and then I'm going to hide a few things. So this is the market profile. I'm going to push this for the letters to boxes, okay, and I'm going to hide volume, okay, and then I'm also going to hide the price. I'm going to hide previous settlement, previous day high, previous day low, and open. So it's now super clean. And I'm also going to hide previous day, hide, show, hide, yeah, okay, and hide this. So now what we're looking at here is, so this is yesterday, and I'm going to reset, okay, and let's just get rid of this as well. Okay, treat this as a lesson, super important, and you can see that it's a, check this out, by the way. Look at that, boom, that's the level that we handpicked. We handpicked that level, we handpicked that initial balance height from yesterday, not today, from yesterday, and there is something here I'm keeping an eye on. It's that open from yesterday, which was up here, and the open from today, which was down there. So from yesterday to today, the RTH is lower, okay, value is higher, so we need to pay attention to that. We had a squeeze, we have this P shape, so let's see how this goes through the rest of the session. But yeah, if these traders get trapped, okay, up here, okay, let's say they get trapped, we could get a quick move back down to yesterday's range low. So let's not forget where we are and the context. But anyway, so here's the market profile, and so B session is just open there, and I'm going to expand it so you can see now as if it was a 30-minute profile. So you're looking at a 30-minute profile here being the B session, but this is collapsed, and when I extend it, so this is yesterday's session, okay, we can see the RTH close there up there, settlement. We've not quite touched it, and you can see it here as well. So there's the settlement, there's the settlement. So if we just collapse this and then expand today's action, so you've got A and then B. And then the green is open. The red here is actually the point of control, and then that's the close there currently. And typically C session, we get a nice trade, and that could be like a retracement. Let's say we're bullish like we are now, one time framing higher. So we broke above the A session high on B. We open, came down a little bit, go higher. So that means the market is currently one time framing higher. Okay, so on B session, typically you obviously want to buy when it opens and go lower, but we open and we went straight up. So this can be tricky because it shows that there's an emotional, I mean, you know, it's the EQ from yesterday here, but it shows like a little bit emotional. Traders are just eager to get in and buy this up. So, you know, you can look at this like, we might go back down there and then trade to that EQ of the day, which is sitting in at 40. And we know 40 has been a good level. Okay, so that's A. But yeah, this is a really nice long wick. So C session typically, depending on how B session trades, C session typically can give us a nice trade. And often that can be a 50% to a 75% retracement. And then we can take that expansion, and then you can just look for the opposite extreme of the initial balance. So for example, let's say we go from the high to the high of B. Let's say the high of B, obviously today's, it's quite big. And I'm going to change this to DSF. And you'll be able to see it. So you got, you know, low, 25%, 50%, 75%, and then 100. You know, the negative will be all the way at 57 and 30, okay, which is the open from 2 sessions ago. So that could be a nice target for us to take the C session trade, which is like a runner, okay? And here I am sharing quite a little bit of a gold nugget, secret top shelf stuff. But it's just looking at the A session and B session combined, which is the initial balance. And yesterday we have obviously the initial balance down here, which we hold. This is what this thing here is. I've got a template for that. No, yeah, this is it. I don't actually need it. I'm always looking at it. But yeah, so just breaking this down for you to see. Anyway, let me take a quick look then at the chat to see if there was some questions. I am using a 4090, and actually, now that you ask, I'm actually going to build a new PC this weekend. It's sitting there on the floor. I've got a lot of components just arrived. But let's take a look at the questions. So smash the likes. Can you... are you still at... No, I'm using One Tower exclusively now. I like it. I think it's a finished product. Honestly, it's really nice. Please save the stream so we can look at it in one more. Yeah, of course. It's going to be on the website. So, or YouTube. Yeah, James Dalton's good books to read. Great stream. I'm not in the competition. Okay, perfect. Okay, Igor, could you look at the long here on NQ with buyers coming in? I think this is a place now where we can just sit back a little bit and let the next 10 minutes, and don't get this tip from me. Over trading can be a killer. We've already made a really nice trade. Well, 2 nice ones. We took a little, you know, a couple of $100 trade earlier. But the next 2 were like really good. 450 plus what, 1500 or whatever. So over trading can be a killer. So just calm down, trade less, and let the market show its next trade. I mean, we could have a little short here, but you know, we don't have to. Let the market see sessions coming in 9 minutes, and then we can see. But yeah, over trading can be a killer. Are you using Atlas? Nope. I still like it, but don't use it as much. To every non-member here, trust me, you struck. Okay, well, thank you. Igor, you look for a lot. Okay, no. Yeah, can you describe a strong and poor high? Well, okay. Yeah, we're here. So actually, I've just noticed that when I put it on boxes, the things don't come in. So let me just change that. Let's just go black. There you go. Oh, you can see the letters. Yeah, a good high is like this. So you have at least, well, you want to see at least 2. Okay, so this is a good high. Okay, 4 is perfect. So this is a poor low. Okay, you take it. This is a good low because you hit the point of control and go. So this is actually a perfect low because you have what? A level, hit, point of control. And then you have open. You come down to that point of control, hit it, and then boom. And look at that C trade. Look, here's an example. Pay attention, please. Super, super, super amazing. Pay attention. Here's an example of a C trade. Look, B, lower, point of control, C, open, and literally it's a buy because you are between B. Like, so for example, if you're waiting for a retracement, it's not going to come because you're at it. You're opening at that retracement. So let me just put this back to the DSF. There you go. You're basically opening below the 50% and just above the 75. So that's kind of like that, the golden pocket, right? And look at the negative of that. You basically go to those 56.80s. That's brilliant. So that trade on C was the runner. One lot, 3K. Well, 4K nearly. So yeah, good example there. So yeah, poor high, good low, good high and good low, and a poor one would be just one single. Let me see here, like really weak high here. So C and D close together, L and M close together. So this is a reference that you can carry forward, and you know that when price comes back to 57.80, which where is it? Where did I mark that? There you go, up there. So 57.80 will be a level that once the market gets claiming some levels and gets inside, I would say once the market gets inside 57.40, you will see 57.80 being broken because it's like that value rotation back inside. And there's an explanation of a poor high and a poor low, and a good high and a good low. Max Pain for stocks, and that short is playing. By the way, Max Pain for stocks. Let's look at NQ. I would say if we have already moved, I know this is around 15. I think we have another from where we are. I would say 10%, at least 10%. That would be the absolute max pain. So let's say we are the current lows 10% down. Look at that, beautiful. 10% down brings us back to 17k. The max pain here will be 17k, which would be a bear market. Okay, because we're well below the 200. That would be the max pain. Is it likely? I don't know. And I don't think, nobody knows really, to be honest. All we have to do is just come in here every day, day in, day out, find a trade, see profits, take profits. Is Optimus using Quantower? You can use Optimus. You can use Quantower with Optimus. Yes. Good to see you again, Igor. Hello, Kyle. Good to see you too. Well, I can't see you, but I pretend I can. What are your settings for the NQ DOM? Standard. No settings filter because again, it's ones and twos in the book. The books, therefore you can leave it alone, but for ES you can filter it. You can, and the tip to filter this is to go over to what's it called? It's to go over to here and to see, okay, what is the max that you can see? Well, 800 lots there at 73, so you know that anything above 300 will be red, and then the lowest one is around 45. So you can go 40. If you go above 45 here, you're going to hide all of those orders between. So you're going to see anything above 80. And there you go. So the next level of support is 6666. And you can see him flashing here. Can you see it there? There you go. And there's a lot of orders. And this acts as magnets to price, by the way. What is B? A, B, and C. Let me explain in layman terms. Okay. I'm going to give you what you are used to. Just hide everything. Let's use this part of the session. Okay, let me go 30 minutes. Okay, so this is the market. Okay, now we're going to take out, where is it? Here. So this is the electronic. Here. So this is the overnight. And this is A. Here. This is A. This is B. And C is coming up. And every 30 minutes period, so every candle. So when you put the bars, open is A. So this is the initial session open. Session open is A. So when you go to a market profile, it just breaks it down for you. So here's your A session. Okay, we open at the low, look at the open there. We then went all the way to the high and we closed there. We went all the way to the high and closed there at 51, around 51. And then B session and then C session is coming up next in 3 minutes. Okay, that's a broken down of that. Why C section? I didn't say it's the best. I said often it can produce nice trades. And the reason for that, it's because you have an established range, meaning initial balance is in. Igor, great stuff here as always. I have been wanting to see more of your TPO setup on TradingView, so I appreciate your recent video you uploaded, but I would love to see more of your main TV TradingView dashboard. Oh, you're looking at it. Well, you have this one. There you go. You're looking at it. I do have this a little bit high actually. BTC is a little bit sluggish at the moment. But yeah, you're looking at it here. I like to look at this. Keep an eye on both markets. Oops. Here. Or even this. But let me just take that overnight trading. Sorry, here and here. Let's just hide that. Because we know, because we have this and it tells us same knowledge, same information. Okay. Let's put the candles because I know you can't see it properly. Just recalling your last video with the market profile and signal letter. Is this level valid for over a multiple session? Oh, I don't really understand the question. I'm sorry. So just recalling your last video. Yeah, I can't really remember. Really, CC is the best place of knowledge. Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge there, so do give it a try. B session in 10 minutes. No, C session. We've got 1 minute left. Yeah, TD, it's 30 minutes blocks. It is a 30 minutes. And I actually asked Quantower to add the open and the closes to this candles as well as the midpoint, which is called the half back. And they did, which is amazing. So now we can actually see this. So in other words, you don't need, this is the market here. You don't need that. You can just look at the market profile and actually pay attention to what's actually happening in here. So you know that at the high, there's 103 lots. And if you remember, from any auction needs volume. Like if there's no participants, like if there's no buys or sells, the market is going to stop there. Like there's no, it can't go anywhere. So this is super important, super important. And that's what I'm going to dive into the next session. And you can see like there's value up. The point of control is up here at 65. As long as there's still value up here building and increasing, as long as these go, there you go, 9,000, 1,000, 1,300, 1,400, as long as there's, participants interested to buy 72, it will keep going higher. Thanks, Igor. Excellent. You are welcome. How long to master reading the DOM? There's no time. My best advice is just load it up, have it on the background. Don't change your strategy. Just monitor it. Just look at it. And over the time, you'll be like, I've seen this happen once. Oh, I've seen this happen again yesterday. And then you start to see repeat patterns, and then you can start like maybe testing a strategy or looking at it, or it can be quite useful, very useful actually. But yeah, there's no time limit. It depends. It could take you 6 months, could take you a couple of weeks will be unrealistic unless you're just literally staring at it the whole day. But yeah, it could take you a little bit. Peeps, what is in the middle of the chart? Middle of the chart. Oh, this is the liquidity. Call it book map. Okay, it is a book map, pretty much. And then here on the right, I do have the DOM. I like the DOM. Re-asking this one, just recalling your last video with the market profile and signal letter. Is this level valid over multiple sessions? I don't understand, Oxy. Sorry. It's and signal letter. I don't understand that bit. I don't know what you mean by that. If anyone else knows exactly what OX severe means, I'd be happy to answer. Is this a valid over multiple sessions? You mean the market profile? You can, yes. I mean, if you mean like grouping this, like for example, you know, I can right click here and merge right or merge left and just, you know, merge them all together. Yeah, you use the same information. So let's say you're currently using this information for the whole range. Well, you're currently at value area high. So, you know, it's not the best place to take a long trade here, for example. But yeah, let's reset it. But yeah, sorry, I didn't quite understood that. I have now your TPO template on my trading view. Great. For the trades entries, how do you decide your stop loss and position size? Well, if you're using TPO exclusively, then you can use the, and this is it, like if let's say you enter here on C, but you want to wait for a pullback. And I would say a good entry on C, it's back at 57 to 60. Okay, that would be the best entry here, because then you have a retracement. Okay, then you have to use the B, the low of B, which is 47 as stop. So if you're getting in, let's say at 57, then your stop is around $500. So that's, you know, for a lot of people, that's going to be a lot. So what you can do is you can go over to the micros, and you can go with 5 lots, and then instead of being $500, you're risking 250. So you can still take the trade, but manage a bit risk better. Let's say you then get into your entry and you're in. Once it starts claiming higher levels and you see that buy coming in, you see the market momentum, you can add the next 5. In other words, you have the same trade on, which is 1 mini. You're still aiming for B highs, you know, to be taken, especially if C open, let's say here, just below B high, and came down even better, because then you've got the B high as a target. But because we went up first and we've hit that value from yesterday, we're kind of getting a little bit extended here, okay, into those 80s that we spoke about earlier. So yeah, single print. It's talking about single print. We'll take a look at that in a sec. Champions, do you have a Spanish teachers? No, no entiendemos nada. No necesito. Last YouTube video, you mentioned that on the market profile, single print or the letter are often yes. Is it valid over? Okay. You can. Yes. Good question. Yes. It's 1:30. Oh, wow. It's very early, mate. Yes. So the question is a single print. So currently we have a single print on B. I would say it is better to use the single prints when they are like untested. So for example, let's look at the single print currently here. You have a single print, and these are the ICT fair value gaps. So the ICT fair value gaps are single prints. And let me show you here. So the next single print to the upside is B session, like there. Okay, so when you expand this profile, you can see, so we had A session, and then B session just broke down here. So that is a single print. When the market came down into that single print at the time, it actually started here. So between the high of that single print here, B, and the low, we filled that inefficiency single print all the way up to just below 95. So 95, just in front of 700. So it's always a good level. 97 as well, and then the actual level. So we filled half of that single print, but there's still a little bit left, and that single print rests at 57.02. Okay, so if the market comes up to that 57.02, that becomes a really great target. Let's say you are long, that becomes a really good target. So single prints are best for targets, okay? But you know that if they're good targets, then let the long trades, for example, unfold. And once they unfold, then you can take a little short trade back inside the range. You can move them to another session forward in the future. But I would say it's best to use them untested, meaning first touch. Okay, there you go. That's how I'd look at it. But yeah, fair value gaps are nothing else, nothing more than just single prints. And this theory is the actual theory. It's called time price opportunity. And you can see how not just beautiful, but pleasing it is to just have all of this information. Even today, just looking at the market profile, we get so much information just by looking at this. And that is just market profile. And then you can use the delta. And the delta will then give you, okay, so that's what the sentiment is, like the context. You get the context of the market from the market profile. And then you go inside and it says, okay, now what is actually happening inside these auctions? Who's in control? So this is the delta for the whole session. Okay, you could actually look at volume as well, but I like to look at the delta to kind of like monitor those nice wells. And then this is the auction for this current period. And you can see that when you go up first, the odds for that retracement back inside the range do increase a lot. So that 50% there at 660 might still come on the cards. Actually, 57 would be the best. And then we can go to the right, zoom into 57. 67, I mean. Is it 57 or 67? 57. There you go. That would bring us down. Look at that, 60. That would bring us down to those big orders waiting. Anyway, I hope you're finding that useful. I am a swing. Hang on. Yeah, good. Igor, can you post your daily video? Yes. Say, there you go. Someone is reminding me. Yeah, I'll post it later. Which books? Okay, those two. But yeah, you've got them. Perfect. As a swing trader and open a trade in. Okay, can you? I don't really want to take too many requests, especially now after a nice, what's this? Nearly 3-hour stream. But I might have to do another. You can see how, right? You can see how we can come in here. Let me just move this over there so I can actually see it better. Or this camera. You can see how time can really fly when we're doing a stream. We've been on since 1, 2, 3. Now coming up 3 hours, isn't it? Well, we've kept the current views of 600. I hope you are all enjoying this. We did get an amazing trade there. But yeah, I could go on for hours, and we are getting that retracement. There you go. So this is so crucial, such important information. I hope you made some notes. And again, remember, no need to overtrade. Just, 1-2 trades a day is the best. Just looking. Oh yeah, there was a, okay, yeah, that's the other trade. Yeah, we're gonna have an AI doing that, Emiliano. Would this work with just TV? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So let me just expand. Let me just expand here. So this is currently, let's go to a 30 minute. Let me just bring the TPO. And there you go. So this is basically that. Okay, so see the resemblance, the difference. But obviously when you break it down to a different platform, you're gonna have a better kind of like what you called granularity or whatever. But yeah, you've got the you've got the same information here. It's the exact same information. So yeah, of course you can do this on TradingView. Well, I did this. TradingView is nice, and then obviously if you want to add the volume, I actually have the whole day here. This is for the volume. You can get rid of that, or I actually have one here which shows you the 30-minute profiles. Let's go. Let me put this on, which is going to be a little bit a lot, but I'm going to add to price. Let's see. There you go. And I think, let me hide this. Let me show you what, and this is me trying to replicate. I'll show you a different day. There you go. So here's, and I'm going to go on NQ. There you go. So this is me replicating a market profile here, but you can now do this differently. But yeah, there's many ways of, how I said it, skinning a cat, isn't it? And we can go back to 0 there and just hide this. There you go. But yeah, there are ways, and there you go. We're coming back in still. See how this is finding that resistance. You are very welcome. Quality, thanks. You're welcome. What was the reason for the... okay, it was a look below. Well, first of all, we were short on ES. We wanted to see... We were consolidating here. We were short. We waited to short around the 20s because the 20s is when you split the last drop. So you've got the drop high to drop low. You want to at least go above the 0.25 into the 50% range, because then you have to think in probabilities. Like if you're, this is a 30-minute candle, by the way. So, as you dropped, okay, this is the range, last candle. So you want, if you are short and you think, okay, I'm still going to see those 10s, okay, you want to go, you don't want to sell down here and have all of this as drawdown. So you want to at least get a better price, because by the time you get to the midpoint here, then you have one R risk and one reward back to the lows. So you need to wait at least for this. Once it gets above, perfect. So, at the time I said it's between 20 entry, 23, and then obviously Max Payne 25. Our stop was around 26, I think, 27 or something like that. And then we got the drop. We had the orders down there. We had the drop. Let's go 15 minutes now, or even a 1 minute actually. Let's go to 1 minute. We then got this seller down here. We kept seeing him on the level 2. He was just, adding, final add, and then boom. And I said, once we break those 618s, which was the price actual, not the 618 Fibonacci, but it was the price, 618 there, 5,618. It's likely that we'll then get that rotation back to the low. And then the market literally open, and I don't want to delete all my drawings, so I'm just going to select all of this and delete that. And then the market open just here, looked below the overnight. So the overnight is all of this shaded area here. So between there and here, we open, we look below just slightly, and then boom, ripped. And typically you want to kind of see the full rotation. But you can see that we took this trade up to there, and now we kind of, actually a little bit to there. And now this has been a little bit of a chop, just a rising, squeezing them traders. And so, there's not really a great trade to be had here. We've taken the best trade. So we went from short to long, and we call that all live here for you all. There you go. Quant hour liquidity, yep. Yeah, C session. It's not giving us any trade thus far. There is a small short here, but that would be a scalp. Like there is a short here, so this high is nice for a short, but it's pretty much played out. You could look for the lows and potentially the 60s. So that would be the best trade. So there is a little trade here, but it's high risk. There's no guarantees you'll take that 60 yet, because the market is still one time framing higher. Yeah, the look below, also the trade, the 10s. So when we were looking at the 10s, let me see if I can go down there and show you. Oh no, that information is no longer available, because I've got this to kind of like disappear with the old orders. But anyway, that I think wraps it up. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm just gonna push this over here so I can see you all. And maybe this chat. Yeah. So, or this one. Yeah, there you go. So thank you very much for being here today. We don't do these often, but it will be, I think we're going to do them at least once every year, so often now. I do have a lesson on this coming up soon with the volume, and it's going to be very quick, very simple, just to kind of like not distract you from actually what's happening here, and just to kind of like show you exactly what it is. And luckily now on TradingView, we can put the volume profile, so that's going to help a little bit. That's why I'm kind of like taking a little bit longer, because they've only just literally came up with that, which you can see by using this. So these are the volume profiles, which we can use on the 30 minutes now, and it will help you as a trader, okay, at least see that kind of like auction about to finish or continuation, etc. And that's going to be a game changer for those of you who have just TradingView and want to trade like we did now. We traded on TradingView because we can connect all the brokers here, really, to be honest. And then you don't necessarily need to have, let's say, that, but you can do it all on TradingView. And let's face it, TradingView, #1 platform, I would say global now, really. Everyone has TradingView. So yeah, I'll work on that and share it with you all. I'll also be here at some point in the next few weeks to give you another stream. And that's it. Thank you. Have a great day. And don't forget, later around 8 o'clock UK time, 4 o'clock New York time, we'll have the Trump tariffs completely done. So that's coming in again at high impact later. So the plan announcement. And with that, I think it's a great time to wrap it up. Thank you very much for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you and goodbye.